Welcome to my 597 capstone presentation. I'm John Tavener. We're going to be looking at personality types, specifically introverts versus extroverts. And I'll be getting into a little bit more about the study that I did. So let's dive on in. We all have different personality types. Some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts. So let's talk a little bit about what the difference is. Case in point will be my family. So that is myself and my wife and our two children, and behind my son there is our third child. So we'll be having him in March, and we're very excited. The reason that I want to discuss us is that I'm an extrovert, and my wife is an introvert. My daughter is an extrovert, and my son is also an introvert. He is 18 months old, and already he loves to go off and read by himself and just kind of have quiet time. Where my daughter, she is just a ray of sunshine and loves to talk to people, interact, and that's where she gets her energy. And my son also is a ray of sunshine. He's a load of fun, but you can just see, my daughter, when she needs more energy, she likes to talk. She likes to um, communicate and be in communion, and my son does too. But you can just tell when he's recharging, he likes to go off on his own. And so yeah, just it's very interesting that even at a young age, my daughter's 4 and my son's 18 months, that you can see those aspects of their personality already in place. And so God just designs each and every one of us different, and so it's interesting to be able to study that. And so that's kind of some of what has driven, as a manager, my appreciation for teams, and especially within IT. That's what I do. And so, yeah, I wanted to learn more about managing these teams. And since the way we process and all of that is different between introverts and extroverts, I really wanted to see how that would manifest in a workplace. Do people prefer different kinds of work teams? And so some of the literature that I found just discussed how introverts and extroverts get their energy. Introverts love to take time and go be by themselves and recharge. The way they process is internal. They think about it, and when they say something, they mean it. Extroverts, they get their energy from social interactions. Everything is outside and concrete. That's how they get their energy, and that's also how they process. They bounce ideas off of each other, trying to formulate that opinion or that idea. And so there can be conflicts between the two. Many times, as I mentioned, my wife is an introvert. I'll say something that's not what I meant. I was searching for what I meant. But for an introvert, they conclude that you had thought about it and that's what you meant. And so just doing some review on how that works and where they get their energy. Even I found something that discussed that the preferred location. Introverts prefer the mountain location, where extroverts prefer the beach. And so, that kind of even plays to that. The mountains are usually a little more solitude and quiet. Beaches are usually more fun. People go to the beach, bonfire, surfing, or tanning, what have you. It's more of a people. So I found that to be interesting. To evaluate the different kinds of aspects that make a team a success, I use the Pfeiffer Book of Successful Team Building Tools, and I took 9 questions to see if the people that are on their teams are having successful and a good time with the teams that they're in. So the questions are: clear goals, defined roles, clear and open communication, balanced participation, valued diversity, manage conflict, positive atmosphere, cooperative relationships, and participative leadership. And so really just looking to see, having a tool to evaluate the teams that they're currently in. Also looked at different work team styles, and those came out of the Organizational Behavior book by Robbins and Judge. And so there were 4 types of teams that we presented. Those are the problem-solving teams, self-managed, cross-functional, and virtual. And so just kind of see, what did the extroverts and the introverts prefer as a work team? So my problem statement: do introverts and extroverts in an IT project team prefer a specific team makeup, and what has been their experience in that team? So again, you can see how we use those 2 tools to look at the teams that they've been in versus what they think that they would prefer. So the hypothesis is the expected outcome, that introverts will prefer to work in virtual teams. That way they're not being run over in conversation. They can say what they mean and have time to think about it. They're not necessarily right together. So again, ones that communicate via email, chat, or other forms of written communication. I expect that there would be clear goals, well-defined roles. I don't think the communication would be as open because it, as I mentioned, would be more, they thought about it and this is what they decided. Definitely balanced participation. They would value diversity. They'd have well-managed conflict because they'd be a little bit, have time to think about what they were going to say. Cooperative relationships, and they would have participative leadership. Extroverts would probably prefer more of the traditional teams that meet in person. When we saw, we would expect this in a group that's more comprised of extroverts. Goals may be more ambiguous. They may be thought up as they go along. There may not be real well-defined roles. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of bouncing back and forth. Communication I would expect to be open, as well as there might be unbalanced participation, especially if there's some introverts on the team. They may be excluded in the discussion portion. Diversity may not be as valued. I know a lot of times the extroverts don't feel that introverts operate at the same level, or that they're shy, or so they may not value that that diversity in the group. I think it will be a positive atmosphere. People are able to discuss and talk things through. There should be cooperative relationships, and I also believe that participative leadership would be positive in a group mostly comprised of extroverts. So I used Google Forms to send out a survey to 40 people. They were various individuals within the Azusa Pacific University IT department. The group that was surveyed is a problem-solving group, as you saw in the first slide there of what the different makeups of the group are. There were 9 questions from the literature review that I read earlier, and then 5 demographic questions. So they were gender, age, how long they'd worked in IT, their preferred working team, and their personality type. So we'll just run through the goals real quickly here, or the results rather. As you can see, the majority of the results were that they felt the current team that they were in had a positive experience. So as you can see, many scored a 4, 5, or 6 on the clear goals question. These questions were out of 6. The question was, in the past 2 years, did you feel that work teams you have been in have had clear goals? And so it kept going through those questions. In the past 2 years, did you feel that you had clear goals? And then through the questions as mentioned earlier. It was disagreed all the way up to agreed for 6. Did you feel that it had defined roles? Again, many said yes, that they did have defined roles. Clear and open communication. Again, the majority did say yes, that they felt that there was clear and open communication in their work teams. Balanced participation. Again, the majority did say that they had balanced participation. Valued diversity. Again, very positive in the last 2 years, the work teams that they have been in. Managed conflict. Again, yes, very positive. Positive atmosphere. Again, the majority scored that they had a positive experience. Cooperative relationships. Again, mostly positive. And participative leadership. Again, also mostly positive. It was interesting. It was pretty close between male and female makeup. Gender was a bit more, which is to be expected in IT. Age was a pretty wide range, as you can see. Years working on IT. It's interesting that 10-year kind of stuck out there. Preferred work team is really what we were looking for, and the majority of them said that they would like a problem-solving team. About 2 of them said that they'd like virtual, and interestingly enough, those were introverts and not extroverts. The majority of the introverts did say that they preferred the problem-solving, where the extroverts were a little more spread out between problem-solving, self-manage, and cross-functional. And as you can see, the majority of it were their personality types were introvert, where only a few were extrovert. So I am a minority in the IT field, which is to be expected. So just to kind of wrap this up, the majority were introverts. They scored mostly positive in all 9 questions. So they did feel that the work teams that they are in now did give them a positive experience. The hypothesis was a bit proven incorrect. I would have expected more introverts to have wanted to go with the virtual, where more did like the in-person. Though it is interesting to think that since they are all introverts in a team, then that they would not be as stepped on as if maybe they were with an extrovert team. So in most of the areas, though, that we expected positive experiences, that did pan out. No extroverts wanted virtual teams, which was expected, and only 2 introverts wanted virtual teams, which was not expected. There's definitely more room for the study. I allowed the participants to select what they felt their type of personality was. So definitely sending out a personality survey to nail that down, like a Myers-Briggs, may help bring a little more information to it, as well as better knowledge of the team leaders. That may be helpful. Were they introverts or extroverts? So yeah, all sorts of really good data came out of this. And, you know, one other little area is what kind of teams were they in over the past 2 years? Most were within self-study, or problem solving, but not all of them were. So I hope you enjoy my presentation and have a great day.